Good day to you, everybody, all over the world. I'm happy to be here today again on this our channel, which is Read and Understand Your Bible. Please always read your Bible. It is very important. The understanding of today's video is to cover Genesis chapter 41. And the theme of today's video is the spiritual meaning of the number 2. If you have watched all of my previous videos, you will have seen that I have explained number 12 and 13, number 6 and 7, number 10 also. If you have not watched them, please go back and watch all of this. Then you will get to know that I don't just pick the number, then I want to explain. But rather, it is the events that leads to the number that I will first explain, because that will make us know the meaning or the significance or what that number actually means. At Genesis chapter 41, Joseph was still in the prison. The buckler and the baker had been released, but I don't think they remember mentioning Joseph to Pharaoh, because the butler said it in one of his statements. Then, the day the butler mentioned that statement to Pharaoh, something had happened overnight. King Pharaoh of Egypt had 2 dreams. Then what are these 2 dreams? Now let me read the record of Pharaoh's dream. It can be found at Genesis chapter 41 verse 1 to 8. Let me read. Then it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh had a dream, and behold, he stood by the river. Suddenly there came up out of the river 7 cows, fine looking, and fat, and they fed in the middle. Then behold, 7 other cows came up after them out of the river, ugly and gaunt, and stood by the river. And the ugly and gaunt cows ate up the 7 fine looking and fat cows. So Pharaoh woke up. He slept and dreamed a second time. And suddenly 7 heads of grain came up on one stalk, plump and good. Then behold, 17 heads blighted by the east wind sprang up after them. And the 17 head devoured the 7 plump and full heads. So Pharaoh woke up, and indeed it was a dream. Verse 8. Now it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all its wise men. And Pharaoh told them in his dream, but there was no one who could interpret them for Pharaoh. It was on that day that butler came up to Pharaoh and said, I've seen to you, there was a man, an Hebrew, in the prison. He was the one who interpreted our dreams to us, me and the baker. And exactly the way he interpreted the dream, it happened. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph from the prison. They had him well dressed. He appeared before Pharaoh to explain Pharaoh's dream. After Pharaoh narrated his dreams to Joseph, Joseph said, does interpretation not belongs to God? Then when Joseph was about to explain these dreams, he said to Pharaoh that these dreams, even though were 2, are just 1. But because it has been firmly established that it will happen, God showed it to Pharaoh twice. That is where we come with the understanding of today's video, which is the spiritual meaning of the number 2. So when you see items in the Bible which were 2, they were firmly established. But just the way it is 2, it is like simultaneous. Please, they were not like simultaneous equation. But the number 2 means deus, but meant for solitary. Deus means 2 numbers of items or events. And solitary means 1, which is 2 numbers of items or events, which is to give us just 1 result. The dreams were 2, meaning established by God. But its results will be 1, which means it will only occur 7 years, not first 7 years, another 7 years, no, just 1 time 7 years. To establish the spiritual meaning of the number 2, we'll have to look into few examples of significant places it has been used in the Bible, whereby its simultaneous number of events or items, which is 2 or called 2 or mentioned to be 2, give just 1 result. The first example I want to mention is at Matthew chapter 19 verse 6. It reads, "So then, they are no longer 2, but 1 flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no man separate." The place is talking about when man and woman were yoked together in marriage, that they are no longer 2, but what? 1. So we changed their name from husband and wife to family. Let's look into another example. This time, I want to use Daniel chapter 8, verse 20. It said, "The ram which you saw, having 2 horns, these are the kings of Media and Persia." So the 2 horns of that ram stand for 2 kings, which ruled together just for 1 time over the earth. Are you getting the gist? Let me pick another example. This time, I want to use Revelation chapter 11, verse 3 and 4. It reads, "And I will give power to my 2 witnesses, and they will prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and 2 lampstands standing before the gods of the earth." If you look at it, there are 2 witnesses, 2 olive oil, 2 lampstands. But they were just 1. The 2 witnesses are to give the same witness, 1 witness. The 2 olive trees are to give olive oil. The 2 lampstands are to shine light. So 1 thing, they are to give. Let me pick the last example. This is at John chapter 8, verse 17. John chapter 8, verse 17 read, "It is also written in your law that the testimonies of 2 men is true." So whenever we need a witness for a matter, when it is 2, it is usually acceptable. They see it as a firm witness that are true. Then note, the witness 1 and the witness 2, their words are to be the same. What they are to present are to be the same, meaning 1. I think now you get the real gist of the significance and the spiritual meaning of the number 2 in the Bible. Deus, but meant for solitary, which is 2 numbers of items or events, which is to give us just one result. If you have not watched the video that explains the 2 horned wild beasts in the book of Revelation, the video is about explaining the meaning of the mark of the beast, which is 666. Please go and watch it. If you watch that video, you will notice that I said the horn of the wild beast were 2. But what they are to produce to the world is just 1. So I think with that, I've given you enough evidence to explain the spiritual meaning of the number 2. So you can read the rest of the events that happened after Joseph explained Pharaoh's dream to him. Joseph was made like a prime minister in Egypt, whereby it is only King Pharaoh that is higher than him. He became the one managing the land of Egypt. So he started the preparation for the 7 years famine which is to come, because Pharaoh appointed him to do the work, which he is the one who can interpret it. So this is how we come to the end of today's video. I think you get the gist. Don't forget, always read your Bible. Share this channel with people you love. When you see that the message you are getting here is exactly what you need when it comes to Bible understanding. Thank you for watching.